wanted to say good afternoon, everyone. And I thank you for allowing me to be able to speak with you today. And I'm grateful for the Bronx Council of Environmental Quality for hosting this very important conversation. Extreme heat is something that doesn't always get the attention that it deserves. We just live it and deal with it, right? According to our colleagues at the New York City Department of Health, extreme heat contributes to over 500 deaths per year, just in the 5 boroughs alone. And it is an issue that affects us all, but this hits certain neighborhoods and communities harder than others. Communities that have experienced disinvestment and structural racism are especially at risk from extreme heat. And our natural environment, extreme heat, it is so important for a livable, equitable city that we do everything we can to protect against extreme heat. And our natural environment has a critical role to play in that. Last year, we unveiled the Vital Parks for All initiative, a very bold plan for caring for our shared natural resources. And this allows the empowering of New Yorkers to be stewards and advocates for their own communities.
Trees, street trees alone, provide over $122 million in benefits every single year to New York City. And they're broken out to 3 major categories. You have stormwater management. Trees manage or intercept 1.3 billion gallons of stormwater every year. That means that we're not overtaxing the sewer system. Pollutants are not getting into our waterways as a result of that stormwater runoff. And that's valued at about $13 million a year. Electrical usage. 767 million kilowatt hours of electricity are avoided because of trees, and that's largely due to lowering the temperature. That translates into about $98 million in savings. And pollution control, trees intercept 1.5 million pounds of pollutants every year for the bargain cost of $8 million. Taken together, that's a great return on investment. But when it comes to heat, which is what we're here to talk about, lowering the temperature, trees especially stand out in significant ways. That idea that in the future we may be looking at 4.5 to 11 degrees higher temperatures is truly frightening. But trees right now can lower surface temperatures through shading from 20 degrees to 45 degrees. That makes a huge difference in how our streets and communities feel on a day-to-day basis, and it also reduces the impact of the urban heat island effect, where surfaces that consume basically heat during the day re-radiate it throughout the night and make life in the city more uncomfortable. Ambient temperatures can be reduced between 3 and 9 degrees, and the Forest Service estimates an average of over 3 degrees of temperature reduction, ambient temperature reduction, because of transpiration of trees. So trees, I used to say trees were the workhorses of the environment, but that's sort of a dated term from my youth. Now I think of them as the superheroes of the environment, which is more in tune with the current cultural norms. But the trees really are the workhorses of the superheroes of the environment. They do so much for us, and the great thing about them is they can be right out our front doors working every single day to make our block, our neighborhood, our community, our city a better place. Now, city agencies like the Parks Department, as you heard from Iris, are doing wonderful things in terms of planting more trees and using strategy and tools to identify where best they should go. We're going to hear more things that DEP does with green infrastructure to make the city a better place. But unfortunately, the city has never had and never approached green infrastructure in the way that it approaches traditional infrastructure. And to be fair, the city hasn't always funded traditional infrastructure in the way that it deserves. The most critical infrastructure gets funded. There are dedicated funding streams for things like bridges and tunnels, which absolutely have to work. The water system has to work every single day. The transit system has to work every single day, and they have dedicated funding streams. Sometimes they're not enough, sometimes they need to be adjusted, but they're there in place to support those vital services. Green infrastructure, environmental services are not supported in the same way, and it's really up to each administration to either make a commitment or not to fund that. And just think if we had a city that looked at every single community in terms of what it could possibly carry in terms of environmental benefits in every single neighborhood.
When DEP is looking at green infrastructure, we're looking at it from the point of view of how can we accomplish multiple objectives at once. We want to protect the environment, we want to address these climate variability, and we want to clean our waterways. We want to provide cleaner drinking water when we protect the watershed lands with green infrastructure, and we want to protect the water quality in our receiving streams and tributaries when we are reducing combined sewer overflows, when we are managing stormwater, polishing the stormwater, and really changing our mindset. When we worked with the Dutch and with members of the Danish community in Copenhagen, I really felt like we had a mind bend. It was like a complete change in approach, because we used to believe in the city of New York that ditching and draining, creating a sewer system, getting the water to leave as quickly as possible was the best solution. What they have done, what the Dutch have done, is that they invite the water in. And it really changes your perspective. How do we better live with the water? How do we manage the water closest to the source? How do we create spaces for that water to coexist with us and to slow it down, detain it, and then leave more capacity in the sewer system for those extreme events? And so that's how we started to develop this green infrastructure program, and the concept of really utilizing nature-based solutions, whether it's a rain garden, whether it's an infiltration basin, whether it's a cloudburst solution that's looking at a neighborhood scale investment where it can take various locations within the community. Mainly those are parks. We could not do this work without the partnership that we have at the Parks Department, without the partnership that we have at NYCHA and with that school. Steve,